Talk with Sherman. Very excited to be with you today. Have some wonderful news here from Now Media. Juan just brought this right up to me here. Very exciting news on December 8th. This was announced that Now Media Digital announced today that's in final negotiations with acquiring KVQT TV channel 21.10. Now Media will begin official broadcast of this coming January 2021 at 6 a.m. with a Spanish telecast hosted by well-known journalists Sergio Sarmiento and Lupita Juarez. So very excited. Sorry if I mispronounced their names. And then Now Media will brand channel 21.10 as Now Media TV channel 21 and will become the first bilingual TV station in Texas. Can't believe it took 2021 to actually have that happen, that we have Spanish and English in one channel. But that's what Juan does. Now Media, along with a strategic partner of Heraldo Media Group, plans to provide news, business, and technology bilingual content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not only over the airwaves, but also with a multimedia platform that includes live television on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Prime, and Google Live TV, in addition to premium internet provider television outlets all over the U.S. In the initial stages, Now Media TV, Channel 21 will include their programming newscasts hosted by established journalists like Adela Micha, Manuel Zamacoma, Brenda Pena, Javier Solozano, and Juan Guerra, and Guillermo Ocha. In addition, prominent hosts will include Michael Rager, yours truly, Sherman On, Gilcy Sanchez, Eduardo Hurtado, Gustavo Soto, Alberto Tudela, and Rick Guterres. So Juan Torres, President and CEO of Now Media Digital, said, "Now we can provide high-quality, proven content that will serve and empower businesses and the respective business owners in the fourth largest market within the United States." So very exciting news here at Now Media. Excited. Obviously, we've been doing this now, Jonathan, for over a year. The Guests in the West, now the Biz Talk with Sherman. As a lot of you know, this is the part-time gig that we do here. Just a ton of fun to be able to share the stories of business owners, entrepreneurs, and of course those are kind of the sales, marketing, business development of various businesses on why Houston is a great place to work, live, and play. And so without further ado, first guest on today is April from Align Theta Center. Thank you so much for coming in on Biz Talk with Sherman today.
Thank you for having me, Sherman.
All right, so that was a long introduction, and we're going to jump right in because you are really helping a lot of families deal with some really serious situations. So tell us first about what is Align Theta. What do you guys do over there?
All right, thank you. Align Theta Center offers an alternative mental health service. And so our ThetaPod technology does one 30-minute session that combines 4 treatment modalities to help with mental health. We found it very effective in helping with depression, anxiety, PTSD, ADD, and addictions of all kinds.
Okay, so when people hear a pod, they're thinking maybe I'm going through some kind of hyperspace. What's happening here? What is this kind of contraption that we're talking about?
It does look a little space age. It's very interesting technology. It looks kind of like a tanning bed, and you lay inside it and it spins. That's the vestibular motion, which is one of those 4 modalities. And you don't feel like you're spinning from the inside. And so after the first rotation, it feels kind of like you're floating. It's also been referred to as a virtual float tank. And it's a very relaxing experience. It's a sensory deprivation experience, so you feel kind of like you're on a cruise ship. And it doesn't feel like you're moving, even though you're spending the entire 30 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing. And so how do you get introduced to this, April? How did you, because you mentioned before that you're a life coach, and then so how did you get introduced to the pod?
Yes, so I'm a life coach and a mental health advocate, and I was starting a nonprofit to help with PTSD and trauma. And a friend of mine said, hey, I know a veteran in Utah who's also starting a nonprofit. And so I connected with him through Facebook, and I asked, what have you found helpful for PTSD? And this is what he told me.
Wow.
And I'd never heard of a ThetaPod before. I had been doing research exhaustively for PTSD for years and was amazed that I'd never seen anything like this before. It's been around for over 30 years, and the founder and the CEO in Utah actually developed this technology himself and has been using it personally there for 30 years.
That's amazing. So in all your research and obviously dealing with people over the years with anxiety, PTSD, what's been typically the approach at kind of helping people deal with those kinds of conditions?
Usually talk therapy and medication are the top two therapies. And we feel like those have a very valuable place for people. And there's no one size fits all. What the veteran expressed to me was that he never felt better than when he came out of his theta pod sessions. And that he really liked that he didn't have to talk about his trauma. A lot of people, they don't want to spend an hour a week talking about their trauma. And so this helps resolve the trauma without them having to talk about it and relive it.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's just, I think, the power of being able to offer something like this to the community is that you're giving them an alternative to the traditional way of talk and prescribe.
Yes, and we also want to partner with local therapists. We feel like there's a very valuable space for talk therapy. A lot of people do have situations where it makes them feel much better. I personally have done EMDR therapy and found that to be very effective, and especially with PTSD. And so we refer people to local therapists all the time because we want to partner with them. We feel like doing both will help them get much better, much faster.
Oh, that's amazing. And so this really gives the patient the opportunity to really, if they're open and willing, and at that point they're ready to talk about those things, you guys can then partner up with some of our local therapists in town to be able to provide that kind of service.
Yes.
All right. Now, you mentioned something that a lot of people might not have picked up there, the EMRD.
EMDR.
Okay.
That's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And so EMDR is a very effective therapy that engages both sides of the brain. A lot of time what happens with PTSD is those memories kind of splinter and go to different areas of the brain, and then they show up at random times throughout your day.
Okay.
So the idea is to engage your entire brain in that process and put those memories back together and work through those emotions so that they don't keep coming with you every day.
Gotcha. And so with a lot of people, when they think of PTSD, they often think of, hey, I'm in kind of war-torn Afghanistan in the military. How can other people be experiencing PTSD and maybe even noticing it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So most people think of PTSD for veterans only, but what we found is that there are many everyday people who have PTSD from a variety of different situations. A lot of times it's from abuse or growing up with an alcoholic parent, sexual abuse. It could be sustained trauma over time of dealing with abuse or neglect, or it could be something like a car accident or a fire, something that causes a trauma. In that moment, everything can change. And not everyone will develop PTSD. About 25% of people are pre-wired to develop PTSD, experiencing the same trauma that someone else does.
Gotcha. Okay. And so each person is going to react differently to a variety of different situations. So the kind of the old school kind of mentality of, oh, don't worry, you'll get over it, give it time, doesn't necessarily work for everybody.
That's true. And then that also adds to the stigma of feeling like I should just be able to get over this and move on.
Yeah. And well, you bring up a really interesting point about stigma, and you talk about being an advocate. Why is that so important for you, especially at Theta, Align Theta, to be able to kind of make it more approachable?
So for me, it's very personal. Coming from my own experience, I developed PTSD from complex trauma, which means a lot of things in life continuing to pile on and dealing with crisis mode for an extended time. My son developed PTSD from a childhood trauma. And so it was very personal and looking for help for my own family in the beginning. And what I learned is that navigating the mental health system here and finding the right help is very complicated. And so when I heard about this alternative therapy, I just love the idea of giving families more choices We've intentionally made our protocols very affordable for families, and we started a nonprofit at the same time because we recognize that mental health care often isn't covered by insurance, and it's expensive for families to get the help that they need.
It sure is. As people are listening here or watching, how can they know if this is maybe something that they should be investigating?
Well, so we see a wide variety of clients at Align. If you're dealing with a situation where you're dealing with depression or anxiety, or in any way feeling like your life is being affected daily with mental health, then we invite you to come in for a free tour and a free spin in the pod to see if it's something that might benefit you.
That's amazing. So when someone comes in for the pod, do they need to do anything to prepare for that?
No, actually, it looks kind of like a tanning bed. You just lay in it fully dressed. I've had people ask, "What should I wear?" It doesn't matter what you wear. You can just wear your everyday clothes, and so it does, light therapy, and it has headphones that you wear, and you just lay down, and it does the therapy for you. So you don't need to do anything special to prepare. Just set up a time that you have, about an hour to come in and learn more about it. And we always do a free spin because no one has ever experienced anything like it before. And no one believes us that it doesn't feel like you're spinning.
So with that kind of in mind, I know one of the biggest difficulties for a lot of people is being still, right? Having that mental mindset. What should people be thinking when they're spinning?
Well, that's part of the interesting thing in creating these new neural pathways. It induces the theta state in your brain. And so it's a state of deep relaxation just before you fall asleep. So the theta pod itself causes you to relax. So we've had so many people say, "I'm going to take a nap in there next time." And we have had a few people do that. So we actually have different meditations that you can listen to while you're in the pod, or we offer spa music or whatever you feel most comfortable with. But it's a very relaxing experience, and we find that whatever people start out thinking about, they end up coming out feeling relaxed.
That's amazing. So what's a way for someone to be able to maybe book one of those spins?
You can visit our website at alignthetacenter.com, and that has our booking information on it and also our phone number and our email address.
All right. So for those that are listening in podcast format, what's the phone number that they can maybe jot it down?
That's a good question.
So this is what I have, April.
Oh, that's great.
It's 832-797-7067.
That's my cell number, and that is perfect. Also, 832-262-1170 is our office line.
Perfect. And then again, for those that are listening in the podcast, it's Align, ALIGN, then Theta, THETA, Center.
Yes.
.com.
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. So for those that are listening, that's probably the best place to go, website, to be able to maybe book that tour, book that spin, to be able to really experience it for someone that might be experiencing maybe some anxiety or some PTSD in their life.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else kind of from a symptom perspective, if someone's feeling that they need to talk to a professional or experience something like that, anything that kind of comes to mind that you want to make sure that they're aware of, that they might be dealing with?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we hear is that people aren't sure what feels normal, if what they're dealing with and what they're feeling is outside of the realm of normal. And so I guess what I would like for people to hear is that it's time to reach out if every day you're feeling concerned about if what you're thinking is normal.
That's really good advice. And thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. April is the owner and founder of the Align Theta Center here in Houston. And so go check out the website, everybody, alignthetacenter.com, and be able to check out your free spin. All right, Jonathan, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back, everybody, and talk with Bob Parliament over at Workforce Solutions.
Hi, this is Alberto Tudela. The Houston metro area has experienced a substantial increase of wind and hail damage, flooding, and other perils in the last 5 years. Now more than ever, it is critical and essential to ensure your company, your property, as well as your family have the right insurance coverage. Tudela Insurance Solutions offers a wide variety of insurance for home, auto, property, as well as life insurance. My goal is to find a tailored option that guarantees the right coverage at the right price, specific to your needs, present and future, so you protect what matters the most. Call me today at 713-714-4475 and allow our team at Tudela Insurance Solutions to make sure you're protected. Accidents never happen when we expect them. Now is the time to ensure you have peace of mind.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Now, more than ever, having accurate and up-to-date bookkeeping is crucial for tax and operating cost optimization. Additionally, having a reliable outside bookkeeping company ensures your books are done correctly, and there is no need for the cost of a full-time accountant. RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services, founded by veteran Ron Maldonado, can provide different bookkeeping packages to fit your company's needs. Assist with the installation of onboarding of QuickBooks, review your books for tax preparation, assist with the creation and registration of your company and obtaining your company's EIN number with the IRS. Tax services for individuals and businesses, for sales and use tax certificates, filing franchise and sales tax reports. Take a decisive step. Call Ron Maldonado at 281-610-7039 and let RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services be a part of your success.
Welcome back to Biz Talk with Sherman. Thanks again to April coming on from Align Theta Center. Just excited about what she's been able to do and helping those that are suffering right now from anxiety, PTSD. Again, folks, if you want to check out the website, alignthetacenter.com. I'm Sherman, your host with Mutual of Omaha, and very excited to have on Bob Parliament from Workforce Solutions. Bob, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for inviting me. It's always great, first of all, to see you, Sherman, and also just to be able to talk about the great things we're doing at Workforce Solutions. There's so many things we're doing to help both employers and individuals in a 13-county area that we'd love to be able to talk about it.
This is amazing. So first off, you guys basically blanket the entire area of Houston.
Well, Houston, the Gulf Coast area, the 13 counties we cover, all the way north of Huntsville down to Wharton Bay City, over Missouri City, Fort Bend, over to Baytown.
Okay.
So we're a very wide area of coverage.
So almost 7 to 8 million people is your geography.
Absolutely.
And so with the different locations, how many locations do you guys actually have that are physically open right now?
Well, all 30 locations we have are open for some curbside. We don't.
Okay.
Most of them are staffed anywhere from 25 to 50%.
Okay.
But it's just to handle phone calls, direct people. If there are things that people need to drop off or pick up, we ask them to make an appointment. You know, they go to the office, they make an appointment. There's some software they can use. They make an appointment. If we need to pick something up, we'll do curbside. We'll put on the mask and the shield, go out and help them, and then go back in the office. Probably the first part of January, we'll start allowing customers by appointment only back into the office.
Gotcha. So still dealing with being able to practice social distancing, having minimal amount of capacity there at the office. Then when it comes to business owners that are maybe listening, what are some of the solutions and options or opportunities, different things that they can get from the Workforce Solutions team?
Sure, and there's a wide range. And we like to say we're probably the best kept secret around, because first of all, everything that we provide is at no charge. We are funded by federal and state taxes, so there's no charge for anything we do. And starting from the basics is help with recruiting. We have the largest recruiting database in the state, which is workintexas.com. So we can help people post jobs there. We also have recruiters that we can help recruit. I don't know how many of the business owners have been on Indeed and put a job posting on Indeed for a receptionist and received 150 resumes.
Yes.
We actually have recruiters that can go through and screen for you to make sure that we're only sending you 10 out of the 150, not the 150. So that's one of the basic ones. We're doing a lot of virtual job fairs. So we can even invite you to a virtual job fair, or we can help you create your own virtual job fair. Those are some of the basic things, but there's other things we provide. We do employer education on a monthly basis, usually 2 or 3 seminars per month. All these seminars, you can get SHRM and HRCI certification credits.
Wow, okay.
So if you need continuing education credits and maybe your business doesn't want to pay for them right now because times are a little tough, we do that free of charge. So once again, you can get all the continuing education credits that you need. We also have some special programs for on-the-job training and apprenticeship programs. And people don't really understand that there's a tremendous amount of state money available for apprenticeship programs. So there's a lot we can do with that. So if you have a job area that there's a lot of turnover and it's basically and it's not cost effective for you to continue to go through the churn of employees, and maybe it's a training thing that we can come in, help you develop a training program, get you the folks in there, and we pay for part of their salaries when they're in the on-the-job training program. And if it's a big enough issue for the entire industry, we can actually roll it up into an apprenticeship program. So there's some things that we can do with that. There's also a lot of skills training that's available free of charge. I had a small coffee shop out in the Katy area that bought a franchise. The franchise software, the accounting software was QuickBooks. The owner didn't know anything about QuickBooks, and neither did his manager. So they took all of the hard copy data out of their POS system, gave it to their accountant, who of course charged them handily for putting it into QuickBooks. So through a skills for small business with the state, we were able to pay for him and his employee to go to Lone Star College to get the basic skills needed in QuickBooks. And once again, it was at no charge to them.
Amazing.
So there's just a plethora, and I love that word, of things that we could provide, all at no charge.
Yes, and ultimately the employers, they pay for this through their employment taxes, right?
Yeah. So what we tell people is that even though we say there's no charge, you've already paid for it.
Yeah.
You've already paid for it, so don't ignore it. And I think part of the problem with a lot of employers that have been in this area for a while, a lot of people think Workforce Solutions is the unemployment office. Well, not really. Now we're more of the employment office, because that's our role, is to put people to work, either to get them off unemployment or to get them into a better employment so they can get a livable wage.
And this is amazing, especially if I'm thinking about the small business owner. You talk about a coffee shop owner that they don't have the capacity time-wise or talent-wise to train someone on QuickBooks, right? Because you can't teach what you don't know. And if you need to focus on driving sales in coffee, you don't have time to sit down for hours on end to talk to someone on a help service or to teach yourself how to do QuickBooks. This is a great opportunity. So how can someone, that's listening, that finds themselves kind of in this tough spot, how can they get in touch with someone there at Workforce Solutions?
Yeah, the easiest thing is just go to worksolutions.com, and it's WRKsolutions.com. So there's no O in work. I think somebody got that website early. So worksolutions.com, and it'll list all of the locations.
Okay.
Basically, you can do that. Or, I can give you our number. It's 713-590-2634. If we're in a Zoom meeting, I'd say I'd put it in chat, which we do now a lot. But just call us, tell them you want to talk to a business consultant. We'll find the business consultant. I have 21 business consultants that work the 13 counties. So we can get a business consultant to you. And really, if you're just trying to figure out what we can do, because once again, we also do labor market information. So if maybe you're having a lot of turnover and you're trying to figure out, am I paying the right amount? We can tell you what your competitors are paying, without naming the competitors, of course. Yeah. But we'll tell you what is a competitive wage in that area. We can also help businesses that are wanting to grow, or you want to get into business. We can tell you if it is a growing business, if it's not. Are there people here that are educated that would be a good workforce for you? So we work with a lot of EDCs throughout the area.
Gotcha.
There's other even customized training. We had a pretty big ISD in this area who had a police department. They wanted them trained in customer service, but they
Oh.
didn't have a training program. We developed the training program for them. We had a manufacturer that most of his staff was Hispanic and didn't speak English very well. We created an English as a second language for the program for them that talked about and taught them to understand the English words in the manufacturing facility.
Amazing.
So, those are things, once again, is that, we do a lot of, but people don't know to reach out to us, for that service. So I'd go to worksolutions.com. And you can even look at the, if you're in the Westheimer area, there's a Westheimer office. In there, it'll list the business consultants. You can call them. Or once again, you can call them, and I'll give you my email address before we get off the air, too. You can email me, and I'll get you to the right place.
That's amazing. So so I think about the workintexas.com.
Yes.
Right? And so as not only as an employer, they're able to then post a job posting there.
Yes.
They're also able to reach out to a business consultant, be able to work with some recruiters to be able to find talent as well.
Absolutely.
And not feel like they have to do it themselves by going on Indeed, like you mentioned, and go through 150 resumes to find one position.
Yeah, and even workintexas.com, like you said, you can go there and you can search the applicants that are there. That's very easy. Or you can call and talk to one of the recruiters in the office, tell them what you're looking for, because they love to refer people. And we have people that they're talking to every day that, we know what their skills, we know what they need. If you're looking for somebody that maybe doesn't have the skill, maybe we can train them in that skill. Once again, people who don't have a GED and somebody wants to have a GED, we'll help them get their GED.
Gotcha.
We do that.
So you guys really help the employee as well that wants to get maybe retooled, retrained, better to be able to enter the workforce.
Absolutely. And we've got relationships with a lot of different companies that provide apprenticeship programs. So if somebody wants to get, become an electrician, if somebody wants to get into construction, we have a lot of apprenticeship programs that we can put people into to help them get to that point. The relationships we have with a lot of these companies is just phenomenal. There's one company here that really looks at the foster care system. So once kids turn 18, they're out.
Right.
A lot of them don't have skills. So there's one company that trains them to be electricians. So they get them enrolled in the program. They're starting to earn money right away. They end up getting a junior college degree, associate's degree, and then they get a job. They're making $60,000, $70,000 without school loans.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. And so talk about a little bit, you mentioned the apprenticeship, an employer, how does that kind of look from the startup to kind of launch? What does those conversations kind of look like?
And usually it comes with a consortium of maybe, say we have 5 or 6 manufacturers doing basically the same thing. They need the same entry-level skills. They need that, and there's not enough of that workforce coming out of either high schools or the local colleges. So we get together, we talk to them about what they need, what they're looking for, what kind of skills. We bring in a community college. We start developing curriculum. We go to TWC and we ask for funds, to develop that. Maybe it's for an HVAC program that you need to buy equipment for. So we go out and we look for those kind of funds to help them put that together. And then basically the consortium basically says, oh, this is what we need. These are the kind of folks. We get the college set up, and then we start putting people in through those. So they get their degree while they're working and while they're being paid. So, it's a pretty easy program, but we just need to find something that works for everybody. But we've seen, it used to be it was only manufacturing.
Okay.
But we're seeing it in all kinds of industries. There's a lot of IT apprenticeship programs, especially with cybersecurity. There was one just approved.
Oh, wow, okay.
So for cybersecurity, which is a big deal today.
Absolutely.
So if you think of something, and there's a lot of people in that environment, and as a business owner, you're not getting people with that kind of skill, and it's kind of an industry-wide gap.
Yes.
We can help fill that gap through apprenticeship programs.
Which is amazing. I mean, it basically is on-the-job training because it's so fast.
Yes.
You're able to be that nimble, right? Where I just, thinking about like a university, to be able to create the curriculum, to be able to get it accredited, right? It just takes so many steps to be able for your traditional college to get this kind of approved and delivered.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the reason we work together. So we've got, great ways of doing that, working together. But a lot of times when people are interested in an apprenticeship program, we start with an on-the-job training program, which is administered here locally.
Okay.
So, we look at the job, we look at the training need, we develop the training with you and get it, because a lot of times companies will go on. We did a lot of that with companies who were starting to manufacture PPE back in March and April.
Okay.
because they were bringing people on that didn't know how to do what they were looking to do. We created on-the-job training, put people in there, and then it can go from there. So, you know, it's amazing because I'll go back to QuickBooks again. We had a small law office that they wanted, you know, the receptionist also to do their books. Well, she didn't know how to do QuickBooks. So we created an on-the-job training program for that. You know, so we could do that locally there too if we didn't want to send them through the skills program to the school. So once again, is if you're thinking of anything you have to train people on, it might be something that we can help with.
Yeah. And so that on-the-job training, really, you end up partnering up with Workforce Solutions as an employer because they'll, number one, help you identify maybe the talent that you don't know is out there.
Yes.
And then two is you'll help kind of create a training program
Yes.
for that individual.
Yes. Well, and we're on site a lot too because we want to make sure that people we bring out there, they're showing up on time. You know, they know how to be in an employment situation because a lot of the people that we're bringing in maybe haven't had a good job experience. So we try to work with that. You know, we're also working with a lot of second chance folks. So we want to help those because there's a lot of people that get out of prison, you know, they have a record, they can't get a job, but they want to work. And we're finding companies that hire them, they have very good, dedicated workers. We also have some programs that I'm really excited about right now is where we're helping disabled folks. So we've got it's a pilot program where we actually put a disabled person on your site to work. We pay them. They're our employee. You're just giving them job experience.
Okay.
You know, so what we're trying to do is help build the resume of these folks so they can go out after they get this job training and get a job on their own. And it's just amazing the kind of work that we're working with. You know, we have people in warehouses, we have people at CVS, we have people as greeters, as hostesses. And once again is we put them on your site. In the beginning, we have a job coach with them so they understand what it is to work, how you show up for work, when you show up for work, how do you work for somebody, you know, because they've really never worked for anybody before.
Yeah.
So we're giving all that education. So it's just an awesome opportunity. So we're looking for a lot of businesses right now. We've got about 80 different kids that I say kids, 18 to 24 typically, that we need to put to work. And if you never worked with a disabled youth, I mean, they're pleasant, they're punctual, they love working. There's all kind of great things. You know, once you get them working with you, you really don't want them to leave. So it's an awesome opportunity. And we also have something called work-based learning, where if, you know, we have young adults that are coming in and say, I'd really like to understand how to work in a medical office. Well, we will pay them their salary of $10 an hour for 6 weeks while they come work for you while you train them. In the 6 weeks, if you love them, you can hire them. If not, we'll move them on. Because in the 6 weeks, they may say, nah, I really don't want to work in a medical office anymore. But it's a good way to give people experience when they are in their youth to figure out where they want to go. And once again, you get an extra pair of hands for 6 weeks, and we're paying for them. That's
amazing. When I think about that, the new role that's erupted, right, is the temperature health screener, right?
Yes.
Is now a new role. So Jonathan's giving the commercial. Bob, absolute pleasure. Really appreciate you coming on, sharing that story. Again, what's the website people can go out to so that way they can get engaged?
I would go to worksolutions.com, and that's WRK Solutions with an S at the end.com. That's where you'll get all the information. And the one where the job seekers are and you can post jobs is workintexas.com.
All right. Well, folks, check out all the plethora of services that the Workforce Solutions can give you and your business as you're looking at identifying talent. No mistake about it, although we're in the world that we are, you're always battling for top talent, and you're looking at ways to train and develop your employees to get them better. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and come right back. Thanks a lot, Bob, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Sherman. Appreciate it. Take care.
Hi, I'm Mike Mogel, the CEO of Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. A clean and disinfected space is essential to keeping your customers and your staff healthy, safe, and productive while preventing the spread of COVID-19. Clean Sweep Office Cleaning, with more than 20 years experience in janitorial, restaurant, post-construction, and floor maintenance cleaning. We really make it shine. We are focused on quality cleaning and wellness in our customer spaces. Our team is professionally trained to ensure not a spot is missed, and we use products that are safe for your property and your people. Our services are tailored to your individual needs and include expert floor care, dusting, sweeping, mopping, vacuuming, detailing, glass cleaning, and deep disinfecting. Our experienced team is here to make your office as comfortable and clean as possible. Visit our website at cleansweepofficecleaning.com or call us today at 832-689-7996. Now that's a clean sweep.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia video business card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia video business card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
This pandemic has decimated the economy, especially small business. Restaurants are closing, retailers are calling it quits, owners, managers, and sales reps wonder, is this the new normal? They are worried about their companies and their future. Bounce Back West Chase is here to help. Multiple companies, as well as public officials, have teamed up to reinvigorate Houston businesses with Bounce Back West Chase, which can be found at bouncebackwestchase.com. Bounce Back West Chase is a completely free of charge platform where any company in Houston can boost, get exposure, and bring new customers to their business. There are 3 easy steps to helping you get new customers. 1. Log on to bouncebackwestchase.com and click Sign Up to get new customers. 2. Fill out your company details. 3. Create a bounce back offer or discount. Your information will then be sent out to thousands of potential customers and clients on a weekly basis. Bounce Back West Chase is a completely free local initiative for Minuteman Press West Chase, City Council members Tiffany D. Thomas and Greg Travis, State Congressman Jim Murphy and Gene Wu, Now Media Radio, the Houston West Chamber of Commerce, and the West Chase District. Get your company signed up, get new customers, and let's bounce back together.
Now, more than ever, having accurate and up-to-date bookkeeping is crucial for tax and operating cost optimization. Additionally, having a reliable outside bookkeeping company ensures your books are done correctly, and there is no need for the cost of a full-time accountant. RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services, founded by veteran Ron Maldonado, can provide different bookkeeping packages to fit your company's needs. Assist with the installation of onboarding of QuickBooks, review your books for tax preparation, assist with the creation and registration of your company and obtaining your company's EIN number with the IRS. Tax services for individuals and businesses, for sales and use tax certificates, filing franchise and sales tax reports. Take a decisive step. Call Ron Maldonado at 281-610-7039 and let RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services be a part of your success.
Welcome back with Biz Talk with Sherman, everybody. I'm here from Mutual of Omaha. Very grateful for Bob Parliament coming on from Workforce Solutions, telling all the plethora of services they have for various business owners out there. And very excited to be able to have as guests Travis and Erica from, is it Allard Insurance?
Ellard Insurance.
Ellard Insurance. Thank you for that. So you're on the B2B side. You just tell me a little bit about it. So tell people a little bit about what commercial insurance, what does that kind of entail?
Yeah, so just very brief rundown on that. So that's going to include somebody that owns a business. That's going to be their general liability, their liquor liability, their property, their workers' comp, their cyber, all of those different coverages that basically protect you from a business standpoint.
Gotcha. And so I know that cyber is a very hot topic these days. It seems like we're getting hacked from everybody these days. Are you finding that seems to be a larger concern for people that are getting more and more online these days?
Yeah, absolutely. I see it as a situation that, especially in the past 3 years that I've been in business, cyber was very new. And now all of a sudden with all the ransomware and the hacking, the coverage has gotten much broader, much more in depth, and much more expensive.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how does, usually people don't grow up and say, hey, I want to get into commercial insurance. How's that look like for you, Travis? What was that career path like?
I think probably a better place to start there would be like, where did I see the need? So we all know the Gallaghers, the Aons, the Marsh, the Willis Towers Watson, the Brown and Brown, the big guys. And then you have the really small guys. So, your 1-2 man show, mom and pop. The middle there, kind of like where you're dealing with small to medium-sized businesses. They're still private. They're not public yet. They're too small for the big guy, but too big for the little guy. So that was kind of the space that I wanted to be in. And we all know that in this world, the fastest way to grow is through acquisition, correct? That's how it's going. So the bigger continue to get larger by buying the people in the middle, the smaller continue to get smaller. Yeah. So I said, how do we get into that middle ground space, and what kind of business do I want to be in? So as I was telling you, my father has been an insurance agent for 42 years, personal insurance, farmers. I saw where I could do it from there, and I just said, but I want to be, as you were saying, on the B2B side. So commercial insurance is where I went, and that's where we've been ever since.
That's amazing. And how about for you, Erica? How did you get started into the commercial insurance business?
So I've actually been doing insurance for over 15 years, mainly focusing on personal line side, but met Travis, and he had a great opportunity for me that I couldn't pass up. So here we are.
That's amazing. And so how do you guys kind of split up the responsibilities there at the office? Is there maybe expertise in just one particular line, and then other people kind of focus on other areas? How do you guys have it set up there?
Yeah, so the way it was really built for us as a team was you have the sales side, which would be Erica and I, but the agency doesn't really run, we can sell as much as we want, but there have to be people behind the scenes that are, nurturing the relationships that we created. So we have to create the trust, and then the trust has to be continued by who's in the office. So everybody in the office was brought in from those large firms that I was telling you about. So, we have people from Gallagher, NFP, Higginbotham, Brown and Brown. They are the ones that really take care of the client base behind us, so that we're able to, one, give you that personal touch, the boutique side that people appreciate from a small business standpoint, but also give you the experience, the tech, the details that come with a large firm.
Right. And so unlike personal insurance, there's a very heavy operation side to commercial insurance versus let's say the umbrellas and things like that, right?
Absolutely. So, and now more than ever with technology advancements and things like that, personal insurance is becoming extremely commoditized.
Yes.
Any of us, even agents as ourselves, we can get online and quote our car insurance with Progressive or State Farm or whoever, and just be done like that. So I kind of saw the shift there to where the relationship in personal insurance wasn't there anymore. People might leave you for $50. You don't have a lot of client
a year, $50 a year, right? They're saving $4.
Yes,
they're saving a Starbucks.
Yes.
Per month.
I don't know about you, but I see that as there's no relationship.
Correct.
And you don't really have many opportunities to nurture the relationship with personal insurance.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, when you're talking about somebody's restaurant, their manufacturing facility, their law firm, their doctor's office, whatever it is, there are so many moving pieces that make that child of theirs go, and you have to be intensively involved at all times.
And it's great. I'm sorry. And it's great because especially if you get in tune with the client when they're just starting out, they're sort of going through different things where it's all new to them. And so being on the commercial side, it's great to be able to walk them through that and say, hey, you know what? Yes, we need to cover your property. Yes, we need to cover this, but maybe we need to give you some options and let's see how far you're going to grow with this and where we can lead you.
Gotcha. So over the years, obviously growing up, seeing Dad run the insurance business, you knew that there was an amazing amount of hard work, of dedication, right? The impact. Was there any opportunity for you to serve any of his clients in this capacity?
I get that question often when I talk about it. And people kind of expect that I jumped into insurance and just automatically knew everything that was going on because I grew up in it. But it's totally not the case. So I don't know if native Houstonian, grew up in Deer Park, Texas. My life was extremely athletically driven. So I really didn't pay attention to that at all. Like if you would have asked me at that point in time what my dad did for a living, I just would have told you insurance. Yeah. And that's about it. So left Houston, ended up in Dallas through recruiting. Went to college there, went to grad school, and when I got out, that was when I got more intrigued by the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And he was there to, fortunately enough, direct me to a couple of people that I deem mentors in the commercial insurance space, because it wasn't a place where he could necessarily help me,
Yeah.
but he could point me in the direction of people that he knew in the industry that could kind of give me a leg up, or at least a direction to start.
Yeah, yeah. Well, where to begin, what to learn, how to really start. So then, what made you decide? 3 years ago, let's go start our own. Let's go start our own.
Really, two things. I went through the interview process a little bit with some of the large firms as far as the sales perspective goes.
Yeah.
And I knew deep down that if I didn't give myself the opportunity to build something on my own, I would have regretted it.
Yeah.
So I would rather try to do it now, and then maybe make that transition later. Obviously, I'm glad I made that decision. Why I left Dallas and came back to Houston is because the commercial insurance space in Houston area is much greater than it is in Dallas.
Oh, really? Why is that, do you think?
It's the industrial space. I mean, you think about everything from the Gulf to brown water to the Bay Area. Hurricanes, the risk is much larger, and we have to deal with things that they just don't have to.
Gotcha. Okay, so you saw the opportunity once again, that either where you knew that, hey, B2B is where you wanted to go, the commercial space, at the same time as you compared two major cities, right? I think we're talking from a population standpoint, number 4 and 5 in the country.
Yes.
Pretty similar, right? On just kind of the glance, but you saw, hey, there's a greater opportunity to really have a greater impact there in that space.
Yeah, and I think there was and no knocks on Dallas, because I love Dallas.
Yeah.
I spent 6 years there. I wanted to come back home. Home. Like, I still wanted to be somewhere different. So that's kind of how we ended up in the Woodlands. Like, I wanted to be back in Houston, but I wanted to be somewhere different where I didn't know anybody. I'm kind of really getting in there and building something from ground zero.
That's awesome. And so 2020, and typically insurance has been known for more of a face-to-face engagement. How have you guys been navigating that at your firm?
Never stopped.
Okay. That's amazing. And then so for you guys on the face-to-face side, is a lot more being done digitally now with kind of meetings and engagements with clients?
I can speak for myself. The only thing that I have really had that is digital is my meetings with my carrier reps. So as you may or may not be familiar, when you're an independent broker, so you're able to deal out multiple different carriers' products. Your Travelers, your Nationwide, your Hartford, your Chubb. So you have sales reps for each one of those that you coordinate with the product. So we would do all of those things digitally, but as far as in board meetings, so that kind of thing's been digital. But other than that, my client base has wanted to meet in person. Okay.
And how about for you, Erica, being in this same kind of side on the sales, right?
Right. On the sales side, nothing's changed for me either. Like he mentioned, some of the things that I've been doing with the carrier reps are done virtually. But otherwise, we're still going. And right, a lot of people still want to meet in person.
Yeah. How about on the operations side? Did you find needing to invest more into any kind of infrastructure to be able to make sure that things were kind of running smoothly there? Or is it already kind of designed for a more of a digital experience there?
Kind of going back to what I was saying about trying to create the best of both worlds to deal with that middle market space. I've tried to be as methodical as possible with how I built the team and who there was. So from a COVID perspective, we all have our own individual offices. We're all spread out. So you don't come into the office and it's a large bullpen where all of us are just, sharing the same air. So that was, fortunately enough, we were, for the most part, able to stay in the office and keep pushing through. I saw that as an opportunity to very much a growth-minded agency right now. We're young. A lot of people are probably going to sit back. So I'm going to take this opportunity to try and be aggressive as possible. From a tech standpoint, we had just recently, in January of 2020, switched over to what most of us in the industry would consider the best agency management platform that there is.
Okay.
So we were already gun-ho, ready to roll.
So you're poised really for the opportunity to really fully maximize that distribution.
Yeah, and that was one of those things that I knew I had to do it at some point. There's levels to that, and an insurance agency runs off of its management system. And I very quickly realized that if I'm going to go out and pluck these account managers from these huge firms, they're going to be used to operating on top flight technology.
Absolutely.
So make the investment early on, and it'll pay off further down the road.
Absolutely. So as you talk about acquiring talent, how have you going on about that?
Word of mouth. When I very first started, at this point, I was just working out of my apartment complex. I was at the Starbucks underneath and using the conference rooms there. I knew that if I wanted to have a fighting chance in the space that I want to be in, I need to have contracts with these companies that provide a superior product. So I went out, and instead of them coming to us to provide the contracts, I went to them telling them why they should assign us the contracts. And a lot of them appreciated that because it was something that they weren't used to. Usually they are having to fight for the agent's business. I saw it the other way around, where I want to fight for your business. So I got those opportunities, and then they saw my need as I continued to grow. And I was able to have them direct me to some of the people at the large firms that either they might have felt undervalued. I mean, many of us know you can get into a large corporate environment and you might be a total stud, but you're in there with 1,000, 5,000 others. Or some people that might have been on the back end of their career but wanted to get back into the mix and do something fun and exciting and be a part of movement per se. So once I connected with them, the rest was history. And that was also in part kind of how I came across Erica. I was on the hunt for another account manager, and I was connected to Erica and interviewed with her, and I was totally blown away. And I felt like we had instantly connected from a sales perspective, and I saw where she could really be a valuable asset to the team. And even though I wasn't looking to add somebody on in sales, I took the jump and brought her on anyways, and it has paid off in many ways.
That's awesome. So from going from your apartment and the Starbucks that you're using, how far have you grown now at this point from a size perspective with your team?
Just me, and there's 7 of us now.
Okay, all right. So there is two full-time on the sales, and then about 5 on the operation side.
So there's 3 full-time on the sales.
Okay.
And then there'd be 4 on operations.
Gotcha. So it's almost like a 1-for-1. So you still are able to give that really nice high touch to those clients as you guys are out there grabbing and servicing clients, but they have a nice team back at the office.
Yeah, and one of the things that I saw when you go and you bring on somebody that's ultra talented in what they do from an account management standpoint, they can handle 2 to 3 times what a normal or below average person might be able to.
Yeah.
And I very much, from my experience in conversations with people, I wanted to try and keep the volume of the staff down and the quality up.
Yeah.
So when I went and brought those people on, it's very much more of an untraditional standpoint where they can handle twice the load, so I have to have less people.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference, right? Where you're looking at talent and you're obviously being very selective on who you're bringing in based on kind of the culture that you're building. It's always better to have a LeBron James than 25 high school students.
I agree.
Right? You know what I mean?
And
the quantity isn't going to make up for that talent.
Well, more staff, more people, more things that can go wrong. It just gets more complicated. Yeah. And I feel like the tighter we keep it, the better we run synchronized as a group. And then there's a lot less turnover when you're dealing with people that are very experienced and they're in a certain pay scale, and the environment is the right way. I mean, we're all in a very much a laid back environment because we all do our jobs.
Yeah.
There's nobody that needs to be micromanaged. I mean, it's a team effort and we all view each other as equals. So that creates a very collaborative, comfortable environment.
So anyone that might be listening, what's a way that they can get in touch with you guys to see if, hey, maybe we should be having a look at these things right now?
So they can contact us at our agency. So it's Ellard Insurance, and we're in the Woodlands. And the phone number is 281-466. No.
281-377-1751.
And
is there a website that they could maybe contact you, and maybe if that's a little bit easier for them?
Yeah, so ellardinsurance.com, spelled all the way out. They can scroll all the way down to the bottom, or they can click the Contact Us page, and it'll bring them to a bracket. It's service@ellardinsurance.com. They can also email us there.
Okay, wonderful. And Ellard, spell that out for those that were listening either on the radio or the podcast format.
ELLARD.
All right, wonderful. Well, thanks you guys so much for coming on and sharing your story. Anything else that you want to let people know about Ellard Insurance?
That we're here for them, from small, medium to large size business, whatever their needs may be. We're not here by any means to sell you something. There's a reason that it says risk management in our name. We consider ourselves consultants. We're going to tell you what you might need. We might tell you what you don't need that you do have, that somebody oversold you. We just want to put you in the right direction, because at the end of the day, helping people, it's going to come back around to you at some point in time.
Absolutely. Well, welcome. Thanks for launching your business back in Houston. I really appreciate that. Thanks again, Erica and Travis, for coming on and sharing your story. Folks, thanks again for listening. This is Biz Talk with Sherman. If you want to come on the show, feel free to email me, sherman.on@mutualofomaha.com. Love to have you come and share your story and reiterate why Houston's a great place to work, live, and play. Have a great one. Sherman's out.